you're welcome. If it is your first time coming here, you're welcome to this conversation. So, just in peradventure, you're planning to do your nursing program, particularly bachelor's in Canada. So, you are right on you're on the right channel just to get more information and more insight as to how nursing program work in Canada. However, is whatever discussion we'll be having today is just a case study of a particular university, so it might not apply to all of the universities in Canada, and but it can kind of give you an overview on how you'll be preparing and some of the things you have to put in mind. I'm not a nursing student and I don't have all the expertise in nursing. So I really wanted to bring someone who is actually in the field to actually give us, first hand information. So today I'm with Belumi. Belumi is my friend. We knew back in Newfoundland, and yeah, we're still friends. So yeah, over to the special guest of the day. So, tell us a little bit about your background.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. My name is Pelumi, and I'm from Nigeria, and I came to Canada in 2012, and I'm currently a nursing student. Thank you for having me here.
Okay, yeah, interesting. So, did you just, jump right straight into your nursing program? I know there is something you need to mention. So, about your bachelor's program. So, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Okay, so I'm actually in St. John's, Newfoundland, and I've been here since 2012. I came here and I did my bachelor's of science in biochemistry nutrition. And then I graduated in 2016 and I went on to do my practical nursing program. So I'm actually a licensed practical nurse right
Mhm.
now, but I also wanted to sort of upgrade, and so I decided to go to nursing school to bridge into the Bachelor of Nursing program,
Okay, yeah,
working my
that's
way up there.
okay. That's very interesting. So it doesn't mean that, when you do biochemistry, you must go to nursing. So I did my biochemistry undergrad. I didn't go for nursing. So, but she went to nursing. So there are different paths that you can always choose, irrespective of the background that you had. So how did you, finally just make up your mind to come to Canada for your undergraduate? Why didn't you choose UK or US or maybe India or yeah.
Um, well, it's always been my desire to study abroad, anyways, to do my post-secondary education abroad. And after some research, I think I just came to conclusion that Canada has, has a good education system, and it's not as expensive as the UK or the
Okay.
US.
Okay.
So I decided to come here.
Okay. That's interesting. So, everyone that I've spoken to always mention the fact that they have to do research to really kind of understand how Canada is different from every other school, which is really very, very fascinating. Okay. So when you were planning when you applied to Memorial University, did you have to write like the IEL, the TLS exam, like the English exam? Did you have to write that when you applied to MOD?
No, I didn't. I had gone to school. All my education that I had in Nigeria was all in English, right? So all I did was just I got a letter from my school authorities, and just them saying that I was competent in English and I had done well in all my English exams, and I could speak English, I could write
Okay.
English, I could read English, right? So that was sufficient as of then. I don't know about now,
Yep.
but as of 2012, that was sufficient enough for me to do that. I didn't have to write an English exam.
Okay. So for anyone planning to apply for undergrad, so you have to make sure you confirm with the school. So each school have their different, modus operandi. So just find out from them if they require the IELTS exam. Though what I know, majority of the school exempt, Nigeria from writing the English test, particularly if you have, since you have like, your English language in the WAEC. For some schools, they kind of put a mark on the minimum you should have in your English in WAEC. Like if you have maybe C5, C4, or B, or A, they might exempt you from writing the English. Then maybe if you have like 60s in English, some schools don't even accept, or they can ask you to supplement with the English test. So, but you just really have to. That's why we're not coming up with rules here. We're just giving suggestions. So you have to kind of find out from the school website what is their requirement in terms of English language. Okay, so let's jump into the nursing program. It's quite fascinating. How the whole process works. So do you want to kind of just give a synopsis, a very brief overview of kind of how the nursing program work here? So like I mentioned, this is for Memorial University, so it might be the same for other university, it might be different. So you can kind of do your own research and see how it's different from other university, but this is just a case study.
Okay. So like Peter has mentioned, um, I'm talking, in perspective of Memorial University of Newfoundland, and so the way it works is, and things change. That's something that I've gotten to notice. Like every single year, there is some kind of change in the nursing program, right? But as of the time when I applied, um, there was the fast track program. So that fast track program is for people who have a first degree,
Okay.
and it was just 2 years. Now they've ended that fast track program and they've replaced it with another program called the accelerated program.
Is that still
And
2 years?
oh, it's 3 years.
Oh wow, okay.
But the good thing is you don't need a degree. You just need to have some form of post-secondary education to be able to
Oh,
apply.
okay.
So it's 3 years, right? And then, so there's the accelerated program, and there is the practical nursing program.
Okay.
Practical nursing program was the one I first did um, before I decided to do my bachelor's in nursing. There is also that one took 16 months to complete.
Okay.
And then there's the 4 year collaborative program for the nursing degree. And yeah, it's just 4 years. That's what most people go. So there are many people that come from high school and they just go into the program, or you could have had a degree or some form of post-secondary education, but it's 4 years,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
So you can just apply directly to the nursing program, or you need to like do a year of sciences, or you can just start right away.
Usually they say do a year of sciences because it's easier,
Okay.
right? But I'm pretty sure, like, if we look on the website, maybe Peter can make that available to you guys. There are all the requirements stated there. I'm pretty sure, like, there's some high school courses that you need to have
Okay.
done if you're applying from high school. But that was not applicable to me. For me, I just had to do I mean, I was coming from having a first degree right into the
Yeah.
nursing program. So basically, yeah. So like we said in the beginning, like I think it's very key that everyone looking to apply to nursing should know the school requirements and know what they're asking for.
Okay.
It's not like set in stone or anything. And
Yeah.
again, it changes every year.
Okay.
So you want to be up to date, right?
Yeah, that's very important, right? So it's very once even though you ask me now like what are the requirements, I can't really say what they're going to be doing for next year, what are the things that are going to be changing, right? So if you have it in mind that you want to do nursing, so it's very important to really um take the time to actually, do research on the program and then see exactly how it work, and then just take some time to really plan towards it. It might take you, like, depends on how long it take you, but just have a plan, right? These are the requirements, and then if you need to prepare ahead, it will be much more easier to do. Okay. Do you think, like having a bachelor's degree, you already have this biochemistry, these topics and learning all these things. Did you think it really made things easier for you in terms of coping with some of the courses you started doing at nursing?
Ah, definitely, because part of the nurse, like to be able to complete the nursing program, you do need to have some electives done. So they're not nursing courses, but you need to have them done. So examples are statistics, microbiology, English, like those are not nursing courses, right? So me coming from a background of biochemistry, I had to do those things. I had to do all those courses in order to graduate, right? So now it's a bonus for me because I don't have to do them anymore. And it's sort of coming from a biochemistry degree, I had to be in school full time. And that sort of helps my tenacity in the nursing program because the nursing program is a lot of work. It's not child's play, right? And you're in school full time every semester or majority of the semesters, right? So that sort of helps to build some strength. And I think that's why they recommend that you do a year of sciences first before you go into the nursing program straight. At least that way you would have a better idea of how post-secondary courses work
Okay. So for
for me.
okay, so for someone coming from Nigeria or any other country, any other African country, or any other country in the world, so and then let's say the person just finished high school, so the person can kind of apply for directly, or just apply for science, or
As at the time that I came here, I had friends who applied straight from high school, but they still ended up doing 1 year of general sciences, right? So my recommendation is still do the general science and use that year to even just get familiar with the university environment, especially when you're coming all the way from Nigeria. It's a whole new environment, very different, because once you get into the nursing program, you're jumping right into the boat
yeah,
and you're not coming out. Like it's, you just
okay,
go, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's advisable to just do that 1 year. It's not a waste of time for sure. Like definitely not a waste of time.
okay, all right. So the person can, like, during the application, is it that you just maybe, like, when you're filling your form, you have to click on what program are you are going to apply for? So is it that even though you apply for bachelor's of nursing, then you still come and still do the 1 year of sciences before applying again, or you just apply for sciences and then after the first year before you reapply to nursing?
Be honest, I am not sure how
Okay.
that process works. But what I would suggest is like whoever is looking to do nursing should contact the nursing program I think their email is nursingadmissions@mon.ca.
Okay.
They're very helpful. Just tell them, okay, this is what I'm thinking. What do you advise? They
Okay.
will explain to you what to do. Because I know sometimes, like, I've been in that position where, okay, it's easy to tell someone to just say, go online, all the information is online. But when you actually talk one on one with
The
someone
people.
skilled in that field, like that's their job. That's their job. Their
Mm,
job is to advise you on what to do, like when you're coming into nursing, right?
okay.
It's a whole different ballgame entirely than you just trying to figure things out by yourself. By looking at whatever they've put online, right? So
Okay.
I would suggest that whoever is looking to apply to nursing should just from high school, right? Because if you have a degree, you can just apply straight.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you're thinking of like you're coming from high school, um, just send them an email. It doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
Just send them an
Yeah.
email and just tell them, okay, this is what I'm thinking to do. What do you advise?
Okay. Yeah, and they will definitely respond. It might, take a couple of days or, for them, but they will respond and give you the updated information. So it's always good program.
As soon as you get in.
Oh, like the
Yeah,
first
from your
first.
first semester. Yeah,
Oh wow.
at least from, and again, I'm only speaking from when I started, right?
Okay.
Um, so right away from your first semester, of course, they guide you through it and they just don't throw you out there because it's a whole different. You're working as a student nurse, right? So
Okay.
yeah, but you start from your first year.
All right. That's fascinating. Okay, and then from your experience, what can you say about, doing nursing, this full time with this loss of workload and then also working part time as well? How feasible is that?
It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work for sure. If you can, I'll just say don't work because you're in school full time and work part time. Now I have not now saying that though, like everybody needs to know themselves,
Yeah,
right?
your capacity and all that. Yeah.
Just know yourself, basically. If you know that, yeah, and it doesn't hurt to try, give it a try. And then if you see that okay, this is not working, have a plan B. For
Okay.
sure, like have a plan B, right? I have friends who are in the program and who are working and they're doing very well, doing
Okay.
excellently well. And I have some other friends who like they're in the program and they're working and it's not going well, right?
Okay.
So it's not a hard or fast rule. You basically just need to, I would say, just have a plan B, just in case okay, when you start, um, you know, you find that okay, this is a lot for you to.
All right. That's interesting. Um, so for you, when you started the program, every program have their own challenges and all that. I know you've mentioned about, their workload. So are there kind of, any other challenge you faced, during the course of the program, something surprising and, how you're coping in it?
Uh, the courses for sure. It's nursing exam questions are a bit different from what I'm used to, right? So
Okay.
it's not just read and download, you're going to apply it and they will
Uh,
make sure you apply it in real
okay.
life. I mean, and that just makes perfect sense. Like you're dealing with whose lives,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So you need to know what you're doing, right? So it's intense and you sort of have to, for example, I find that I have to, for me to totally grasp a course, I have to um, read it, study it, not once, not two times, right? For me to be able to say, okay, I think I'm starting to understand what they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Um, that was not the case for me in biochemistry or even the LPN program. Like I could read it once and be like, okay, I think I'm be
No.
comfortable with this, right? But with BN, like you need to understand, you need to practice questions, like studying for national exam, right? Because from your first year, they're actually preparing you to
For the
write
exams.
your NCLEX exams, which is the board exam to become a registered nurse, right? So they're giving you all the hard stuff
Okay.
right when you start. So
Yeah.
you go in and just get prepared and be ready
Okay.
for yeah. And I find that time management, oh my goodness, it cannot be
Mm-hmm.
overemphasized because you have all these big courses
Yeah.
that you have to deal with within a short period of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be on top of your game.
Yeah.
You need to be on top of your game, yeah. In
All
time
right.
management for sure.
Yeah. So that's why, like she mentioned, having that a little bit of time to get adjusted to the program. Maybe like if you're doing like the first year of sciences, it kind of even generally help you to see the differences between what you, or, you might come with a pre-assumption, and that might be, something different. So having that time to really get to know how it work is really very important, right? So every department have their, like I took a course this semester and it was all about application. In the exam, nobody is going to ask you to define or to list
Yeah,
anything. So they will
that's
just,
just what it is,
you
right?
know,
So
like,
I'm still trying to, get adapted to that
yep,
system.
yep.
Right?
So
Okay, you can read and just
you
go
can
in and
even
right.
memorize concepts. Like in this course,
Exactly,
in the course that I
exactly.
did, it was like a graduate course. It was a nutrition and cancer course, and every of the assignment they will always tell you, oh, a patient came into the hospital and then he did his scan, and then so you as a dietitian, what are you going to do in this situation? Even though they give you the
Exactly.
notebook, you can't spy
Exactly.
anything, right? So you
Exactly.
have to
I
you have to
mean, this
think.
semester we had a lot of open book exams, and you're better off just knowing your stuff. Do
Yeah.
not rely on that because they're
Hmm.
not going to ask you something from the textbook,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you need to know
Hmm.
what you're being taught and be able
Yep.
to apply.
Yep. Yeah. That is really very fascinating. Okay. So let's move a little bit outside of school now. We've been talking about nursing and all that. So I know you don't study 24 hours, 7 days a week, 30 days a month or 31 days a month. So outside of school, what do you do, like, outside of school to just, keep you or help you to relax?
Okay. Besides school, I have church.
Okay.
During the week, I have a student fellowship that I attend, and I have Bible study, and I go to church, and I'm involved in church. So besides school, my life is church, and
Okay.
I also have like when I want to just unwind, I watch movies,
Okay.
and yeah, maybe
Yeah.
go out with friends. And
Okay.
what's outside, I guess.
Yeah. So don't
There's
don't
really no time for that. Yeah.
yeah. So you must always be able to create that, work-life balance at
Yes,
every point in
absolutely.
time. You don't just work like, all around the clock. You need to, see a place where you get refreshed. And for me, like church is a very crucial part of that relaxation mode for me. You know, I remember when I was at Mon, like myself and Pelumi, we used to attend the same students fellowship. So I always look forward to that Wednesday fellowship, because after all the week's stress, and I just want to go and pray because I just feeling so stressed up with
Or just
schoolwork.
even see other people, just
Yep.
something outside of school, right?
Yeah.
So I find that CMFI more has really helped me
Yeah.
with that.
That's really
Sorry.
fascinating. Yeah, that's fascinating, and really missed, those moments and those singing, those songs. Definitely, I'll come and pay you guys a visit sometime.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. One last point, what general advice, on the final note, people might be watching this and then they are planning to do a nursing program, maybe they've graduated from their first degree or they're just from high school. Just general advice you would have for them.
Well, I think that it's very important that everybody knows what they're good at.
Okay.
Um, Nursing is not for everybody. That's just the
Mm-hmm.
truth. And it doesn't make you any less if you find out that nursing is not for you. Because there will be rough times during the program, in the program, that you're like almost giving up, right?
Yeah.
But it's the reason why you chose it in the first place that helps you to keep going. So don't go into nursing just because of the money.
Mm.
That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So money is important, but um that passion for money will not sustain. Like it will, after a while you'll be tired. I can assure you that. So let there be an overriding passion. um for going to the nursing program. And also just even while you're making all your plans, just put God first, because God knows
God
the
first.
future.
Mm-hmm.
God knows the future. And why not just check with him first before making a mistake, right? So it's very important. And I
All
wish
right.
everyone the best.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing these experiences, and I know that people have been blessed, and really got a lot of insight from you, sharing some of your experiences. So, thank you so much. So, if you have any other question, you can just, leave it in the comment section, and if I don't know the answer, I can always contact Belumi to find out, or I can check myself. But if you need any information, you can always go to the school's website and just check, and it's going to be really very helpful. So thank you so much for watching, and if you've not subscribed, to this channel, just do it to subscribe. There are lots of good contents coming out every day. Just hit the subscribe. Subscription is free, so that whenever new videos are released, you surely get notifications. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.